Hey man, you able to hear me? Hey, how's it going? Oop, hold on one second. I can't hear you. Hold on. Is that any different? Let's see. Still having, still can't hear you though. You can hear me though, right? Hmm. All right, hold on one sec. Damn, I don't know why it's not. I don't know why it's not picking your voice up for me. I'm gonna try another one of my other headphones. See if that does anything different. Is that any different? Hmm. I got everything. I got everything else off except for my headphones. Everything should be working, but I can't. For whatever reason, I can't hear you. And I use StreamYard all the time.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you there.
Okay. So I'm gonna drop out this one and use my iPad. It was
Okay.
on my side.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me switch back to my headphones.
Okay. So all right.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Now I got you.
Okay, that was on my side. I had to fix that. Sorry for the inconvenience. Can you hear me well?
Oh yeah. No, I hear you great now. Everything's good now. Hey man, don't even worry about it. I can't even tell you how many times I've had issues on a live stream.
Yeah, this is my first time. Okay, so um, So you can hear me, you can see me.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, everything's good on my end.
All right. So let's take it from the top.
All right. All right.
All right, guys. This is a Prem show, and today's special guest is NightWatch Zone. I came across him through Lady Sasha, where he was on some of my videos, commenting on my live stream. So as usual, I went over there to your page and check out your content. And let me tell you, you have a plethora of stuff from top tens to like decades worth, just a plethora of stuff, right?
Yep.
So I end up watching a few of your videos with my lady. We just let it play. We just sat there and watched most of them, and messing you back and forth. I was trying to get your co-host, your brother, and your other friend, but I guess they
Mm-hmm.
wasn't around for this one. Hopefully, the next one, if we do one, they can be a part of it. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I think your knowledge with the movie industry in itself is a lot, but when it comes to the movie genre, definitely a lot of information. So I definitely want to pick your brain, uh, have some questions lined up for you, and let's just have fun. Let's chop it up.
All right. Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Lady Sasha in the house.
okay. All right. So we good. We got the approval.
Nice.
So let's see. All right. And I'm good. You can hear me because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
further away from my iPad, it's kind of people can't hear me.
Yeah, no,
So
you sound good.
hold on. Let me do this. I have my foreman on the side telling me to do stuff. All right. So what happened? So the first question I have for you is, why did you start your YouTube channel, and how did you get your co-host?
Oh man, that's a story. I'll try to make it quick. I mean, me and my brother Killian, who's on quite a few of the episodes on my channel. I mean, we've been movie lovers since we were little kids. My parents got us into it, and especially my mom. And we've always just talked movies, man. We've always we watched movies together as kids, especially with my other cousins and stuff, and it was just a big part of us growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Blockbuster on the weekend and renting movies and all that type of stuff. And especially as I got into my teens, preteens and teens, I got really big into horror. So, but anyways, as I grew up, me and my brother, even though we live in different states, we always would talk to each other about movies, or what did you see or this or that. And we thought, man, we should do a YouTube channel someday. And
Mm-hmm.
this was at least 5 years ago or so. We used to talk about it because there's so many great, as you know, there's so many great content creators, and it just never happened. We
Right.
both we both work regular jobs and stuff. But ironically enough, when the pandemic hit, and there was a lot of quarantining, especially in the beginning, I had a lot of extra time on my hands,
Yeah.
and even though I was blessed to still be working,
Mm-hmm.
I still had a lot of time on my hands. I wasn't doing a lot of other things. And I said to him, I said, well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start a channel. And he said, cool, man. He said, well, anytime you need me to come on, let me know and this and that. And I started it. And actually, the channel, anyways, just celebrated 6 month anniversary, like three weeks ago or so.
Mm-hmm.
So I started it, and he was fortunate enough to join me on a bunch of episodes. And then my other co-host, Coriander,
Mm-hmm.
she's a great film buff. She loves movies, especially horror movies. And she was gracious enough to say, "Hey, I'll jump on too," and then that way you can have support on the channel, and you can rotate us around, whatever you want to do. So I was like, "Yeah, sure." So it's been really fun to do what I like about it is I've been able to do a variety of things because I've done some videos with all three of us, some videos with me and Kill, and some videos with me and Coriander, and I've done some with just myself. So it's been, at least in my opinion, I think it gives a lot of variety, and hopefully people, can enjoy it. And so far, seems like people do. So it's been fun.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy it. Like I said, Lady Sasha the one that put me on to you, and I'm glad I went to your channel and check out your content. And like I said, you have a plethora of stuff over there, brother. You got a lot of stuff, and me and my lady just let it run. We just put it on and just let it run. So
Yeah, yeah. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
yeah, so um, what keeps you invested in a horror movie genre?
Well, um, I mean, a big part of it is obviously growing up. I just had so many fun memories, watching horror movies, talking about horror movies with my friends, with my brother, like I said, and a lot of good memories, man. A lot of good memories. Watching them with my mom, who unfortunately isn't with us anymore, but
Oh,
she was
sorry to hear
really. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. But so a lot of good memories watching some of those horror movies, and unfortunately, growing up and now being an adult, there's been some really good horror movies that have come down the pipe, especially within the last decade. We've gone through some different periods. The 80s was fun, and the 90s, there was some good moments. And now, in the last 10, 15 years, there's been some good horror movies. So I'm still having fun watching them. That's really the bottom line. It's still fun to talk about them. And now doing things on YouTube is so much conversation to be had, about the classics and about the movies within the last decade or so. So it just keeps me going.
Oh, cool, cool. All right, so what's your thoughts on the horror movies made today? Are they better quality movies getting made, or is it just stagnant?
Well, I think it's kind of a two pronged answer in a way. I think that there are a lot of movies that come out in the genre that are just kind of they're kind of by the numbers. They don't seem to have as much creativity in them. I think part of that is because we went through a period, especially in the mid 2000s, and up, where there was a lot of remakes of the classics, and some of them were good, but some of them weren't good at all. So that's one part of the answer,
Yeah, I
but
agree. Yeah, I agree with you.
yeah, but then the other part of the answer is then you have people like James Wan and Lee Winnell and Jordan Peele and people like that have really taken what's great about horror and started to breathe a little bit of fresh life into it. You've had great shows that are splicing horror aspects into social commentary and sci-fi, like Lovecraft Country. So I think that
That's an awesome show. Great
it
show.
is, man. Oh man, it is. Man, I'm telling you, that show did not get enough love. I mean, it was critically acclaimed and it did pretty well in ratings, but
Mhm.
I'm just telling you, man, I enjoyed that show so much. I really did. But that's the good side of things nowadays. We're starting to get, some fresh life back into the horror genre and a lot more respect that's being given into it, you know.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So with the success of Get Out, do you see Hollywood industry asking more melanated director to direct more horror movies?
Well, it's funny because I think, and I'm just, of course, obviously, I didn't know what you were going to ask, but just right off the cuff, my answer is I think it's a gift and a curse because I think
Mm-hmm.
what Jordan Peele was able to do with Get Out, it was such a fantastic movie. It really was. And I think it
Mm-hmm.
opened up a lot of eyes. And I think it also just proves, say, look, man, if you make a good horror movie and you do it the right way, you've got people of color doing it,
Mm-hmm.
that demographic is going to support it. They're not going to just support something that's has no soul to it. And what I mean by that is it's just kind of done without the right heart behind it. It's kind of just paint by numbers. But as much as that's helped a lot, I think that it also kind of the other side of it too, because I think sometimes people are like, oh, okay, well, let's just make a bunch of movies that are talking about, historical trauma, to the African Americans and this and that, and I think that
Okay.
that could that could be a slippery slope. I mean, I think in general, hey, it's good, so I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it and hope that it goes in the right direction. And I think for the most part, it looks like it is, but I'm just really worried that it's going to start to get to the point where every time you see a horror movie, it's got to be about the struggle and the trauma. I mean, we could do movies where that's not even part of it and it could still be done well, you know, or we could do movies that at least respect and reference it. But again, we're dealing with now and something super fresh. I just hope we don't get into a rut. That's my main thing.
Okay, I just like to elaborate on that. I think me and Lady Sasha touched on it in our first interview where we were talking about the constant making of minorities or melanated people in so it's how can I say it? Take this ass whooping with dignity movies. That's what I call them.
Mm,
Okay,
hmm.
uh, subservient roles, The Help, Blind Side, 12 Years a Slave,
Yep.
Django. The list goes on and on and on. Uh, Now these movies are cool if it's spread out over 7 to 10 years, once in the blue. But to
Hmm.
have them back to back to back to back to back, and it's not
Right.
like us out with a movie like a true Nat Turner movie where we can have the Braveheart format where it's 20 minutes of them kicking ass and then it's the rest of the movie kicking their ass. If we can't have that big payoff, like Interbellum wasn't a big payoff,
Hmm.
um, I gave it a shot with the series them on Amazon Prime, and after the first 2 episodes, I just skipped to the last one, and it wasn't a big
Uh,
payoff. And I came to find out it was like 10 episodes and 9 white directors. But anyway, that's another subject in itself. Um,
mm,
if it's not gonna be a big payoff, and these movies are gonna be far in between,
hmm.
and like you said before, there's a lot of good script that doesn't warrant the character to be a certain color.
Right.
You
Right.
know
Right.
what I'm saying? And we could do sci-fi, horror, sci-fi, whatever the case may be. We can mix it. It could be horror, sci-fi, period piece,
Yeah.
or event, wherever the case may be. But we don't have to touch on a go-to pigeonhole stereotype format, cookie cutter stuff as you referring to. So I definitely agree with what you said. It makes a lot of
Mm.
sense. One of your opinion, and I
Yeah.
agree.
I mean, like for instance, as you were saying that, it just popped into my head. Like, I don't know if you've seen that movie, Event Horizon.
Yes,
Okay.
Lawrence
So you got
Fishburne.
Yeah, so you got Lawrence Fishburne as the captain, right? And then you've got I forgot his name, but you have oh man, I forgot the brother's name. But anyways, that movie doesn't touch upon any of that stuff. You know what I mean? You come into the story, you see these people on the ship, you got a captain that's black, and he's just doing his thing. He's not
Mm-hmm.
whatever, whatever. And you got Sam Neill. Sam Neill's a great actor. He kind of plays, spoilers anyone, but he kind of plays eventually the antagonist. And it's a great movie. And we didn't have to touch upon anything. We just take these characters the way they are. So just as an example of a sci-fi horror, we could do movies like that. We could do movies where it's basically um, someone Indiana Jones like, or whatever. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Yeah, I
Look at
think. Sorry to cut you off. I think what
No,
you're
that's all
saying
right.
is we can do different genres of movies. I think for us,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm talking about my side. Our side is that Tyler Perry Studio can produce more than late night talk show slash reality shows. Like you said, we have
Right.
historical
Right.
pieces dealing with us, uh, folklore dealing with us, horror, love story, whatever the case
Mm-hmm.
may be. We need to start spreading out into these areas and showing that we have the skill sets, which we do,
Yeah.
behind the camera, in front of the camera, to do well for the company or the studio that's producing these movies. They want money at the end of the day because it is a business, so they can get their money. And other directors and studios can say, "Look, this this actor, he or she is
Mm-hmm.
really good. Let's take her, or let's have an interview with her, see if she's ready for this role."
Right.
The
Right.
more exposure you
Absolutely.
have in mainstream movies, the more exposure you will get. And
Right.
I definitely agree with everything you said. So definitely move on to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
And what decade do you consider produced the best horror movies?
That's
Now,
about the.
now
Go
see
ahead.
this one when I was writing it, coming up with this question, my last, I really want to hear what he has to say in this one. So I'm definitely looking forward to your response.
Well, hopefully it doesn't disappoint, man. But for me, it's easy because I got to go with the '80s, man. Because I mean, to this day, I still watch horror from the '80s, and even the horror that it may not have been well done, or maybe it didn't have the biggest of budgets or whatever. There was just something tangible about what these artists were doing, the people in front and behind the camera. I was just we were just reviewing John Carpenter's The Thing the other week, and the stuff they did without computer effects is just like that's imagination, man. That's people putting in the work,
That's a
because you gotta.
craft. It's a craft.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And and no disrespect to movies today, because I like a whole bunch of movies today, and CGI has its place, and it has made some really cool things look fairly real. But when you got to come up with it from scratch, and you got to build it, and then you've got to manipulate it and all that type of stuff, and then make it look real, try to fool me into thinking it's real. I just got to give credit to those artists, and we had so much of that in the '80s. The '80s was kind of a point where the technology was far enough so it could look fairly real, but it still wasn't at the CGI level where it almost looked. And this might sound silly, but it almost looked too real, and then it
Mm-hmm.
looked kind of, and that made it look kind of fake.
Mm-hmm.
So so as a long as a long-winded answer, definitely the '80s. I just loved so much in the '80s, man. I really
Cool.
did.
Cool. Cool response. Okay, so the next question I have for you is: have you attended any horror festival slash convention? And do you own any horror memorabilia?
Oh man, look, I'm gonna tell you what, and this is funny because I think you were, I can't remember who you were talking to. It might have been Lady Sasha. I can't remember, but I had never been to a convention
Mm-hmm.
until 2019, and I'm gonna tell you what, and this is God's honest truth. That was some of the most fun I've had,
Mm-hmm.
as far as genre related stuff. I mean, it was amazing. It was such a blast. The biggest downside of it was right before the pandemic hit,
Mm-hmm.
because in 2020 I was looking forward so much to going the next time, and then that way I was a little bit more experienced, because the first time when I went, everything's just coming at me so quick, and I'm just like a kid in the candy store, you know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, I met Kane Hodder. I met Ken Faree from Dawn of the Dead and so many other
Mm-hmm.
great movies. I met Adrian King from the first Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Derek Mears, who played Jason in the Friday the 13th reboot. And I mean, my experience was very positive. All of those actors were so gracious. I've got pictures with all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian King, of course, who was the final girl in the original Friday the 13th, she must have given me like 4 or 5 hugs.
Mm-hmm.
And, each time, I was like this close to not letting go, because Friday the 13th was actually Friday 13th was actually my first horror movie when I was a real little kid that kind of got me into it and watching them. So when I met her, it was like, and she joked around a lot with me too. She's like, "Well, the circle is now complete." Because and I was like, right? So yeah, I did go. That's the only one I've ever been to, and I'm telling you, I regret not going to more. But hopefully once all this pandemic stuff clears up, I plan to go to as many as I can go to, man. It was a blast. And I
Yeah,
got some posters and mugs and stuff. It was good stuff.
yeah, and you know what? I agree with you. I haven't been to a horror convention, but they do have them where I live at, and I always had this nonchalant like I could get around to it.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, with the pandemic striking and
Mm-hmm.
putting things down and changing things up, you know what? When everything is over, I will be attending as
Mm.
many festivals that I can. So I
Yeah.
definitely agree with you on that one. So the next question I have for you is there any haunted location in your area and have you visited any of these places?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. There is actually a couple places, and not recently as far as going out to visit them, but I'd say within the last 5 years. Actually, there was one 2 years ago. There was a cemetery that was supposedly haunted,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to go out for walks and stuff like that, sometimes jogging or whatever, hikes and stuff. So me and a friend, we went out to the cemetery,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not gonna lie to you, man. And like I said, I'm a lifelong horror fan. So it was funny because you get a little desensitized to being
Mm-hmm.
scared, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the flip side of it is that now you have all this horror movie knowledge, so you know the rules of what you should not do, you know. So you did not get to be a victim. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man. We were in that cemetery. It was actually during the day. There was a little bit of overcast, and we came up to this gravestone. And it's funny because the markings on the gravestone, they looked like they were
Mm-hmm.
faded, and I can't remember the whole thing, but it was just a creepy moment. It was really creepy. And my friend was like, "Hey, we got to get out of here, man. This ain't jiving right with me." And I was like, "You know what? You're right. I've seen enough horror movies. Let's get the F out of here." So we did, but that was a good one. A creepy cemetery.
Yeah, I was interviewing a sister, and she was saying how she definitely enjoys and likes the horror movie, but she says she keeps it on screen. So I don't know, you know what I'm saying?
You-
But where I live at, there are some places that we just venture to. I live next door. Well, not next door, but near one of these locations. There's like nothing to us, but
nice.
it goes back to what you said. We know the rules and how to engage certain things, so we respectfully understand. And when we get that inner, you reach your limit, we
Yep.
out.
That's right. That's right, man. Yep.
So the next question I have for you is, do you enjoy foreign horror movies?
Yeah, yeah, and actually, it's funny you say that because that's one subgenre that I'm hoping and have been trying to catch up more on. Because I think there's some good foreign horror movie out there, man. It really
I
is.
have to send you some. I have to mention you some movies that I have because I've been collecting them for maybe 15 years.
Nice.
The way I've been going about it, actually 20 years, I would buy an all regional Blu-ray player
Yeah, yeah.
because we had regions and stuff. So I was buying
Mm-hmm.
them back in the 90s, and that's how I was able to watch all these foreign movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I see
Mm-hmm.
like foreign horror movies and stuff like that, which is good. So I would definitely send you some stuff or
Yeah,
recommend some stuff to you. Hopefully you enjoy it. But
absolutely. Much appreciated.
yeah, I'm glad that you do watch foreign horror movies.
Yeah.
So you don't mind the subtitles?
Nah, man. Well, see, and this is the other part that's funny because I love the movies and stuff. My other big passion since I was a little kid, even younger than my horror movie love, it's been martial arts. So ever
You
since,
are. Do we have a martial art aficionado amongst us?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I teach martial arts too. So when I was a
Oh, what do you
kid,
think?
I teach Kung Fu and Tai Chi.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So since I was a little kid, man, and my dad, he'd be watching Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee and all that type of stuff on Saturday afternoons and Kung Fu
Mm-hmm.
theater. So, so in other words, through the years, I've been used to watching movies that I have no idea what people are saying, and they'll have and they'll have subtitles. But it's funny too, man. In a lot of movies like that, even though you don't always know everything they'd be saying, especially the good ones, anyways, the good movies, you can get a flavor and a sense of what's happening. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
and
I
to me,
agree.
that was always kind of a good mark of a movie is that I can still follow along. Same thing with anime. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I've watched some Japanese anime. First time I saw Fist of the North Star,
Mm-hmm.
I saw it in Japanese with no subtitle or anything, and I'm just watching it, and I was following along, and then I don't know, it might have been a couple years later, I saw the English version of it, the anime, and I was like, wow, I actually was pretty close to what the story was supposed to be. So
Mm-hmm.
if it's a good movie, you can follow it, man. You
Yeah,
really
I
can.
definitely agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
So the next question I have for you is, how many movies slash downloads do you own, and do you read horror books?
Oh, well, I used to read horror more so when I was younger. And
Mm-hmm.
and actually it's something that I kind of miss doing, ever since, well, probably ever since I was in my early to mid 20s. I kind of fell out of habit with it because I was, obviously working and adulting and all that type of stuff. But I do miss doing that, reading horror books, horror novels, horror comics, and stuff like that. Maybe one day I'll get back into it, I hope. But as far as how many, oh, thanks, Lady Sasha. She said that's awesome. I teach martial arts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. But as far as how many, I'm gonna tell you this, man.
Okay.
I got to the point, in a way, I don't even know if I've admitted this on my channel, but in a way, I almost feel a little ashamed, and only a few people know this. But I got to the point where I had so many DVDs, especially mostly DVDs, but a huge bunch of Blu-rays. I even still had some VHSs from back in the day. I literally one time counted well over 1,500 physical, physical, and that didn't even count. Like there was a period, and hopefully I don't get us in trouble here, but there was a period. You remember Napster and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So that was for music. There was things for movies too.
Mm-hmm.
So, there was a time when a lot of me and my buddies, we would like movies and we'd be passing them on to each other. Check this out. So I had, those CDC sleeves, the books that are like that thick.
Mm-hmm.
I had at least 4 or 5 of those, and usually those are 100, 120 or whatever. So I
Mm-hmm.
had a lot of physical stuff. So the part that I a little bit ashamed about is I got to the point where I started downsizing them because it was just too many, man. I got to the point where I was like, damn, I got 3 copies of Halloween, VHS, DVD,
The
Blu-ray. I was like,
uncut,
man,
the director's cut.
yeah, yeah. I was like, man, I gotta downsize a little bit.
Now,
So
how do
I
you
don't
download? Like, do you get movies like Voodoo or
I,
Amazon
I
Prime? Like that?
yeah, I do, and like I said, some of my, especially my physical media friends or some of the physical media guys on YouTube, they're
Mm-hmm.
probably thinking, oh crap, Knight's betraying us. But no, I have a lot of downloads on Vudu because, like I said, man, I just had too much physical. And actually, my brother, he kind of got me into that because he made the jump first. He started to really downsize his physical collection, and he jumped onto Vudu and all that type of stuff. And he's like, man, you got to do it. You got to. And I held out for like 3 years. I was like,
Last
but
of
I
the
don't.
Mohegans, huh?
Yeah, I held out, man. But now I'd say my collection is probably almost half downloaded and half physical now. So
Yeah, I made
yeah.
that transition myself a couple years ago. I had maybe 500 Blu-rays, And
Mm-hmm.
I'm a minimalist. I've been like a minimalist for 10 years. So my thing is like space and clarity. I
Mm-hmm.
need things organized, right?
Right.
So it was hard, but I made
Right.
the transition and I said, well, if this works for the movies, let me get
Mm-hmm.
to the books. So I started downloading books. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, some recommendation for you.
Okay.
Chill.
Okay. I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah. And Nail Biter.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one either. All right.
Yeah. Some of your friends who still read can co-sign those books.
Okay.
They can tell you about them, but they're very interesting.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
moving on to the next question I have for you is will you be doing any live stream interviews at events? Like, would you be going out to certain locations or premieres or anything like that, festivals, and doing live streams?
Well, it's funny you asked that because when I first started the channel, and I know you probably know what this is like too. When I first started the channel, you really do feel alone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're trying to think, we all love movies and stuff like that. And I knew I was going to be a movie channel, but I was thinking, how am I going to present it? How I'm going to do it? What am I going to do to draw interest from people? And then I would think about the creators I watched, and especially, but yeah, obviously before the pandemic, a lot of them did that type of stuff where there'd be a premiere of a movie, they go to see it, and like within like an hour or two, they're uploading a video.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually did do a little research on, some of the ways that people do that, and thought to myself,
Okay.
that's something that I do want to do. I mean, I don't have any solid plans right now,
Mm-hmm.
but that's definitely something that I want to do on my channel, just to have, again, like you were saying, I'm just trying to have different flavors and variety on my channel
You have
so
a lot
that
of varieties, brother. You definitely have a lot of varieties. So
yeah, I
I
try. I
dig
mean,
that.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just, just I love movies, and I think to myself, if I was going to a channel, what would I like to see? You know what I'm saying? What would interest me as a movie fan, a movie buff?
Mhm.
So that's always been the roadmap for me.
Okay, cool, cool. What I find was one of the struggles for me starting this channel again is I guess being censored, like censoring myself, but
Hmm.
I'm being disingenuous to myself. So I figure like, look, just be who I am. This is how I am off camera and on camera, and it is what it is.
Right,
Being mindful that I ain't gonna be vulgar now like that. That's not my
right.
concern. But at the same time, just be who I am, and that helps out a lot. I will be doing live events wherever that I'm in Connecticut, and if anything pops up that warrants me
Hmm.
to go there, I'll definitely ask people who want to participate to get on film, a live stream,
Mm.
ask them a couple of questions, which I'm looking forward to. It should be fun.
Yeah,
We'll see because it's live
yeah.
stream.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I guess the next question I have for you is, what are some of your favorite soundtracks, signature sounds, and horror movies that are iconic?
Oh boy. Oh man.
I should have had this question for Lady Sasha too, because I know she has a couple herself, so she might
Yeah,
make a
I would have.
comment.
Yeah, I would have loved to hear what she would have said. Yeah, she knows what she's talking about, man. She really, really
Yeah,
does.
her,
She's awesome.
Sanders, the other sister I did, Chauncey,
Yes.
Crystal. Yeah, these sisters are coming through and they're very knowledgeable.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what, man, and Lady Sasha knows this, but those ladies, man, they're teaching me, because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as a matter of fact, when I first started, I remember when I first started, and I know she won't mind me saying this, but I found Lady Sasha's channel, and I watched some of her videos. I was like, man, this is nice. This is great. And I messaged her. She probably thought I was stalking her or something, but you know,
Yeah.
but but no, for real. I mean, they really do know their stuff. I really think they're so well spoken. They know what they're talking about. It's informative and it's engaging. It's like
Yeah.
you can feel a connection. But I love a lot of soundtracks, man. I mean, again, 80s stuff is always fun. I have the soundtrack to The Fog from John
Great.
Carpenter.
Yeah.
Man, I've had the soundtrack on CD before for years, long ago, but I just got it on vinyl because I've been getting into vinyl in the last like year.
That's a good sound
Man,
too. Vinyl is
oh
very
man,
different from digital. Yeah.
it is so nice, man. I mean, sometimes I'll just put it on and I'm in my room and I just kick back and just let it wash over me, man. The Fog is amazing. But so many iconic soundtracks, The Shining, and um, there's this newer movie.
What about some of the
Called,
sounds like Jason sound?
oh man,
Elevator stuff. Yeah.
I love
Jaws
that.
when they bump into
Yeah,
it. Yeah. Dirt up, dirt up.
yeah, man. I mean, like I said, man, a lot of these filmmakers and musicians and all that type of stuff, they got a lot of creativity, man. They really, really do. I love sound effects in the movies too.
Yeah.
And this movie that came out, geez, I think maybe now it's about 8 years old or so. It's called It Follows.
I
And
love that movie. I just downloaded that movie.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's got a good soundtrack, man. It really, really does. And it's kind of paying homage to the 80s, which I was
Okay,
like,
so
yeah.
let's see what Lady Sasha wrote. My favorite horror soundtrack is probably the one from Candyman. The Hellraiser soundtrack is great too. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely agree with that one. Definitely agree.
Mm-hmm. She knows what's up. Yeah,
Yeah.
Candyman. That Candyman score, man, it's like it just
It was
takes you into that movie.
yeah, it was haunting and alluring, and it put me in like a folklore horror movie, just it's typical horror movie, like folklore to me. So I
Yeah,
definitely enjoyed it.
it's a good one, man.
So the next question I have for you is there any up and coming horror director you think we should keep an eye out on or eye on?
Up and coming horror director. That's a tough one, man. I don't have one that specifically jumps out at me. I mean, obviously, you could go with the regular answers like, Jordan Peele and Lee Wanell. I think he's done some really good stuff because he's just really started doing some directing, and I really enjoyed The Invisible Man. I thought that was really, really good. And I think if he, and of course, him and James Wan, they teamed up to do Saw and
Mm-hmm.
all these things. And we know about James Wan. We know
Yeah,
we know
that's a
he,
given. Yeah.
he's a given. But if Lee Wanell can continue on his path and get to that type of level, I think it's just going to be so good for the horror genre in total because you just have more quality movies, more quality stories, and it's just going to be a more respected genre, which is one thing I think the horror genre, especially in the 80s, it was very popular, but
Mm-hmm.
it didn't get a lot of respect. You know what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
know, a lot of the critics, I mean, they just thought, oh, these are just these dumb slashers slashing up women and this and that, and then when we got into the 90s, like we did have things like Candyman, and Scream was kind of a step up a little bit because it was so meta. But
Mm-hmm.
I think in the last 10 years, I think horror has really started to get more respect. So that's the big thing I'm always looking forward to with these up and coming directors. But I forgot her name that's doing the
Candyman
Candyman.
or the sister, I forgot it too.
Yeah,
But
Nia DaCosta, I think is who it is. I think. But
okay.
I'm interested to see what she comes up with because I've heard some good things about her, and I'm praying, man. I'm like, please don't mess up Candyman, please.
It, it's a double thing too. It's like don't mess it up, and hopefully she knocked this out the park. She get more projects in the horror genre.
Yeah. Hmm.
So with that being said, are you ready for the speed round?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. So what horror movie made across seas had the name of a country and a city in the title of the film? See, I had to make these a little bit harder for you because I know you know your stuff. Lady
Oh
Sasha,
man.
if you're still watching, you can write something in there.
It had uh it had a country and a city in the
Yeah.
title.
Yes.
From Across the Seas.
Made
Oh
across seas.
wow. And it's
Yes.
a horror movie. All right, hold on. Let me think. Um, dang, man.
You want me to help you out?
Yeah, give me a hint.
America Werewolf in London.
That's what it was?
Yes. American Werewolf in London.
All right. Dang, that caught me off guard. It's like that wasn't even in my thought.
Okay. Thanks for the ride, lady. It's from
Oh, that's
a
Creep
horror
Show
movie.
too.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Get a little traction there. Okay. Well, since you told me you're a big Jason fan, I know you know this one. In the Friday 13th series, when did Jason make his first full appearance?
Now, that's a little bit of a trick question because when he was all right, so look, this is how I'm going to answer it. Part 2 is when we saw him with the sack. Part 1, he
He
was fully
comes at the
grown,
end and he grabs her, right?
and supposedly that is a dream. And it's funny because the filmmakers they kind of went back and forth on that because Tom Savini, who did the makeup effects for it, he's like, Jason never existed. That was just a dream that Alice had, And then of course in part 3 he had the hockey mask. But yeah, part 2 is when he was first fully
Part two.
shown.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to need a bigger boat. It's from what iconic movie?
Jaws.
There you go. All right, all right. The original movie, The Thing, was shot in black and white or color.
Black and white.
That's right. A lot of people don't know that though.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because I saw that when I was a kid at my grandmother's house, that original one.
Me too. I
Yeah,
was young and I seen it.
yeah,
Actually,
right.
it's good. It's a good movie. It still holds up
I
to
know.
this day.
Yeah.
Yeah. What horror movie director made a superhero movie 19 years ago and is currently making another superhero movie for Marvel now? Who's the director? If y'all want to comment,
Sam
guys, I can comment.
Sam Raimi.
Yes. Yeah, because he did Spider Man.
Yeah. I in my head I was trying to remember how long ago was Spider-Man? It's like
Yeah.
time flies.
Okay. What's the name of the horror movie that had Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt in it?
Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah. Actually, that's a really good movie.
Yeah, it is, man. That movie really made me respect Brad Pitt a lot more too, man. Because I was like, that Brad Pitt, he's all right. He's got some skill,
You know what the acting chops. He can
Yeah,
play the
yeah.
bass.
Right, exactly.
What monster movie franchise had the longest running and continue to be made?
Oh man. Well, I know which one has had the most movies, but if we're talking about the longest running, I guess I'd say King Kong. Is it the other
Godzilla.
one? Godzilla?
Yeah.
The first Godzilla was before the original Kong?
Yes.
Damn. Oh
Yeah.
well. But I did like their movie together though. That was all right.
Mm-hmm. What iconic horror character was created by religion?
Oh, wow.
See, I had to really sit down and write these up because I know what I have on my panel today, well, on my show. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Uh Dang, let me just think. Is it a new one? A newer film?
He's iconic. He's iconic.
Okay. All right. Hellraiser? I mean Pinhead?
Dracula.
Oh, gosh. Good
When they
one.
used
That's
to
a
go
good
the
one.
crusades for the religion,
Yeah.
the church and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Good one. Yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. That was a good one.
What vampire movie had a young group of vampires terrorizing a small town in California?
The Lost Boys.
Yeah, classic. iconic
Yes.
movie. Great movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I think that is it for the questions. As you see at the bottom of the screen, check out your channel, subscribe to your channel. Um, I would like to just talk a little bit more about horror. Um, are you watching the Creep Show that's on Shutter?
You know, I actually
That's
haven't
it. Tales from the
started
Crypt. I think
watching.
it's Tales from the Crypt, right? No, it's Creep Show.
No, it's Creep Show. It's Creep
Yeah.
Show, and I actually haven't had a chance to watch it yet because I was waiting until I had like a block of time because I'm the type of person that once I watch one episode, I want to keep
Oh, hold
going
on.
through it.
Wait, wasn't the first King Kong in the 1930s? No, we were talking about the longevity. Like, Gonzo movies are consistently being made. And I think it's before King Kong, but it like continue being made as monster movies. Like, Gonzo movies are getting made every 5 to 7 years, continuing from 1940 to now.
Mm,
Cross seas, and now America got their hands on them,
hmm
and they've been making them too. So
And it's been
he's
a ton of them, man. It's
yeah,
crazy.
him.
Whew.
James Bond is a long running series,
Hmm
so definitely got some long ones in there.
Right.
And she said Lost Boys has a great soundtrack too. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. It
Mm-hmm.
really did. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I'm definitely liking it. I just feel like they're missing something there on the show.
Yeah.
It's missing. But
Hmm.
I'm definitely enjoying it. I've been watching it. I like the first season of it.
Yeah.
This season is okay. Some hit and miss. I like the one with the plumber. Did you see that one
hmm
yet?
No, no.
Okay, that's a recent one, so I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not gonna spoil it for you. Um, Going back to you saying you watch martial art movies,
Mm.
who are some of the guys you enjoy watching besides your go-to Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan? Was it like Sammo Hung, Yu Bao, Johnny Yang?
Man, I mean, back in the day, especially when I was, excuse me, especially when I was like in my teens, man, I was so big into Samo. Samo is so amazing because
Mm-hmm.
even as a kid, I would sit there and be amazed that he was able to do so much he was a bigger guy. And 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 I was like, this guy is more agile than me, and it's
Mm-hmm.
crazy, but I love him. He's amazing. Nowadays, obviously, Donnie Yen. I mean, Donnie, and it's twofold because Donnie Yen's been around for a minute, and
Mm-hmm.
he's just started to get that recognition, in the last decade, especially
Mm-hmm.
because of the Ip Man movies. Excuse
Mm-hmm.
me. And it's like, man, but I'm just glad he's getting that recognition now. He had that role in Star Wars Rogue One. He had a role
Agreed.
in, yeah,
Blade too.
Blade 2. So I'm like, man, get this guy some work because he's a really great actor. Like he is a very charismatic and he's a good actor. He can portray drama really well. And obviously, he's an amazing martial artist. I mean, he's literally one of the tops in the game. He's kind of like that forefather right now.
No,
But I
he
love
is.
Donnie Yen.
He gets that. He definitely get that respect. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny
yeah.
because Bruce Lee Into the Dragon. That I think that was Sammo Hung that he was sparring against.
Oh
And on
yeah.
the side, it was some of the Five Deadly Venoms on the side,
hmm
and down in the basement when he was fighting, trying to get away. That was Jackie Chan when he kicked through the window.
Yeah, it's funny because you got Bruce against Samo, and then you got Bruce taking Jackie out. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
man, that was cool. I think I read once years ago, Jackie Chan said, he said it was just an honor to get my ass handed by the great Bruce Lee. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's awesome, man. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So, are there any questions you have for me?
Yeah, actually I do, man. I mean, like, uh, and obviously because I've followed you and been in some of your chats and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you, well, actually, and I know you may not want to answer this or you may not be able to, but do you have a list or some ideas of other people that you're going to be looking to target for some interviews for future episodes? And you don't
There's
have you don't have to tell me, but I'm just
no,
wondering,
I
you know.
definitely want to touch base with you and any viewers who is watching. There's a good. It's this guy named Maniac Horror on Instagram. I follow.
Hmm.
This guy's right. He's a journalist, and his stuff is phenomenal. But he has a very big array on when it comes to horror movies. So he's down to get interviewed. I'm gonna reach
Cool.
out to this other brother named Jay, see if he want to get up here. I do want to do a panel, um, and I want to do certain topics on the panel. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna go about it and who will I pick. There's gonna be certain panels or certain things.
Hmm.
Of course, I'll be tapping your shoulder on that one. So hopefully you'll be available to participate on the panel.
Absolutely, yeah.
Uh, that would be it so far. Let's see who else. So him. I'm missing somebody. Somebody else I want to get up there. But those are two people. That's the one person I definitely looking forward to get up there. And he's
Nice,
good. This guy's good, man. He's
nice,
really good.
nice.
Um,
Yeah.
like how I had Horror Girl up here. I'm not sure you
Hmm.
watched that interview.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
sister right there. We connected through Instagram.
Nice.
The same with this guy. Like I said, he's there. I've been going back and forth with him. He's across seas. I think he might be across seas. There's a couple of guys that have been reaching out to me. One in the
Hmm.
Netherlands and Switzerland somewhere. And
Wow.
there's a brother named
Nice.
Eris because I'm an artist, so I've been doing artwork and interacting with people across seas and stuff. But they're also down to jump on my live stream and interview, the horror genre. So if I get these guys up there, I'll be what we call it, international.
Right. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's great, man. Like I said, I think it's cool stuff, what
Mm-hmm.
you're doing, and I think it's cool stuff what you're doing. And I like I said, man, I know what it's like when you're trying to formulate that plan, of what you want to do and how you want to relate on the platform, and then the process of enacting it, and I know for myself, it took a while to kind of find that groove, and I think you never really truly are solid in it because you always want to be able to grow and be flexible and all that type of stuff. But it is an
Mm-hmm.
interesting process. But yeah, man, anything. I know some people too, um that I think would be a good discussion for you as well. So definitely, if you let me know if you want
Hey,
suggestions or
hey, bring them through,
connections,
bring them through, because I
because
will
I'm gonna tell
decide
you.
the question.
Yeah, no, but and I'll tell you what, one of the best things I did too is, and you're on Instagram, and I think yeah, I'm connected to you on Instagram.
Are you
um
in my movie group on Facebook?
yes, yep,
Uh,
yep, and that's awesome too. And I'm gonna tell you one other thing. Twitter.
yeah, I need to
Twi-
start back on Twitter. I need to pick it up. But there's a thing called Clubhouse too. Do you do the Clubhouse?
on Twitter.
No, it's an app called Clubhouse.
Oh, no, no, no,
You might.
isn't that just for Apple? I mean, yeah, yeah, iPhones and stuff.
I'm not sure, but the way it's set up is that when you get up there, you can do wherever you want. You can make a room and
Yeah,
get time and a date, and people come in, and you guys be
yeah,
talking. It's
okay.
really nice. I think you might want to check it out if you have an Apple phone or if it's for all phones, all platforms, stuff like that. You would
Yeah, I'll
definitely.
have to double check about it because I think it was just for Apple phones and I have an Android, but I'll
Mm-hmm.
double check on that. But yeah, man, I'm gonna tell you what, it's so many people that connect, through the social medias and especially Twitter. Twitter was the last social media thing I really kind of got on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you what, man, it's definitely been, as far as just finding people, reaching out and trying to get your word out. It's probably,
Mm-hmm.
at least for me, it's been the most beneficial. It really, really has.
Clubhouse is like the party line. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Nice.
Um, yeah, the only thing that I'm trying to work on is when I have my live interviews, that's
Mm-hmm.
funny because there's something on Clubhouse right there. Just popped up. Um,
Mm.
I had one person, technical difficulty last minute wasn't able to do the live stream, so
Yeah.
that was kind of like the nervous part of doing live stream because anything can happen.
Oh
But
man, it's crazy. I mean, and I when I first started doing this, I thought I would do videos and edit them up and then upload them.
mhm,
But then for whatever reason, I just started to get into live streaming my episodes.
mhm,
And then I started to have people that would come into the chat. So just like with you, you
mhm,
talk to people in the chat too. And so on my channel, as you probably know, because you've watched some of it, probably 85% of my videos are live.
yeah,
And I'm gonna tell you, man, I've had almost any problem you can think of. I've had times when we started and just something was wrong and we had to stop and back out and come back in. And
mhm,
so it can be frustrating,
mhm,
but I will say I'm glad that I kept at it because I think it's one of those things that really has helped me connect with the people, or some of the people anyways, that watch my videos. And I think that that's really paid off, dividends.
mhm,
So I guess what I'm saying is you're going to have problems with live stream. That's almost a guarantee, but just
mhm.
keep at it. Just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. Try to have backup plans. Like when I
Yeah,
didn't.
like this iPad, I just jumped up there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Like when I first couldn't hear you and I was thinking, uh-oh, maybe it's me. I had my other headset right here and I actually got earbuds right over here. So,
Uh,
just try to have a backup plan, but just know that stuff is going to go wrong and just keep at it. Because a lot of people that watch, they know,
mhm.
they know that sometimes technology can be a bitch
Yeah, it
and
can be
we
a
all
little
go
janky
through it.
sometimes. Yeah, it get a little janky
Yeah.
over here. Yeah,
Right.
because the feedback that I'm getting so far is that they like the format, like how I just kind of lay back. I try to tailor the question to the person I'm interviewing.
Yeah.
So I take that approach and I do a little research. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At least watch the people channel and their content, not just one or two videos, but a whole bunch. I'll go back
Yeah.
something 2 years ago, then I come to the recent stuff and see the difference, like the growth and what they've been doing and stuff. So I try to
Yeah.
really do some good deep research on people. But
Absolutely.
listen, I'm gonna need you and your co-host, your brother and the other lady, Cordra,
Yeah.
or how do you pronounce her name?
Coriander. Coriander.
To come back on this platform. So when we get to the
Yeah.
speed round, I'm gonna ask some questions for y'all.
That sounds good, man.
Yeah, I mean you did good, Doug. You did good. You know what I'm saying? You really
Yeah.
did good. That's the aim. So with that being said, I don't want to hold you up too much because we hit like an hour and 4 minutes. I'm gonna let you go, and I will see you in the near
All right, man.
future.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
All right, and thanks for
All right.
watching, Lady Sasha. Peace.
Yeah. Peace.